So good afternoon, ma'am. Happy International Women's Day. So you are Kaneeka Kaundal, ma'am, professor of Amity Law School, teaching criminal law. You have graduated from Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies, doing BA LLB. Then you have done post-graduation from Kurukshetra University and PhD from Banasthali Vidyapeeth, Rajasthan. Am I pronouncing it right? Yeah. So
yes, so I'm still a student in Banasthali Vidyapeeth. I am to complete my PhD. So I'm a student there. I'm still learning. Yes.
So you took a great initiative. Like the topic you gave is period poverty and menstrual hygiene management, which is something that should really need awareness among everyone. So can we start off by talking about menstruation, what its definition basically is?
Yes. Yes, totally, Akash. So, before starting the topic, I wanted to be interactive. So,
Yeah.
I'd ask you one question, which is that, imagine one thing which is an absolute necessity in your life. Okay, just imagine it. You don't have to tell what that thing is. And then imagine deprivation of the same. I'm not talking about luxury. I'm not talking about a phone, but I'm talking about something that's an absolute necessity for you. And then imagine you're being in a stage where you're being deprived of it. So that's the easiest way to understand about menstrual health, management or menstrual hygiene management. That's the best way to understand the same. However, we have a definition. The definition is that whenever there is a woman or whenever there is an adolescent girl, and she wants availability or accessibility for a clean management of menstrual system is what we define menstrual hygiene management as. Now, what does it include? It actually includes a clean management system for absorption, collection of menstrual blood. It also includes privacy, where it can be done, right? Also, it includes availability of basic necessities like soap, water, to maintain basic hygiene. And then when we move forward, it also talks about availability of a safe disposal system, because at the end of the day, we do not want to clutter the environment.
Right.
We want it to be done sustainably. We do not want to cause litter, etc. So that is why we also require a system wherein it can be safely disposed of. What can be safely disposed of? I'm talking about the period products, the period products that are required during menstruation. So now, what is period poverty? When we talk about menstrual health management, we talk about things that are needed. Okay, we need accessibility, we need availability, we need a management system. Period poverty is just the opposite of the same, which means it is just the opposite, saying that it would be a state wherein you have none, where as a woman and adolescent girl, you have no access, you have no availability, you do not have a clean management menstrual system. So this is what is period poverty in simple words. So now, to kickstart this discussion, I would like to share a statistic with you, which is that about 63 million women do not have access to toilet or sanitation facilities globally. Now, which is a very, very big point of concern. So that is what brings us to the situation that I gave you, that something that's an absolute necessity, but you're totally deprived of the same. To which we can move safely towards our second question. Akash, would you like to maybe ask
Before asking
something?
that second question, because there is so lack of awareness about what menstruation basically actually means, I mean, especially among men. So ma'am, can you give a brief description, what it entails, what all women have to go through? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. See, when we talk about menstruation, so now menstruation in India has a lot of social stigmatization. It is looked upon as a taboo. By the way, it is a natural biological process which happens on a monthly basis, wherein women who are in their reproductive age, they tend to bleed on the 20th day, depending upon their respective cycles. So it's a very simple concept. It is a natural process. It is a biological process. But again, the problem arises the fact because that we are not aware. There is a sheer lack of awareness, not only on such a general topic, But also, you know, the attitude of society towards understanding the same is also one point of concern. We know about it, but we don't want to understand it because it's not our problem. And it is a problem that is to be dealt with in secrecy of homes, you know, is also what makes it more problematic. So yeah, so that is what menstruation is. I mean, different women have different menstrual cycle. Usually it is on the 20th day. Some of them would have it on the 30th day, etc., etc.
So there are a lot of memes and a lot of fun is made that women become cranky during that time, or oh, ye to pagal ho gayi, she must be down, or she cannot work during that time. So, ma'am, why is this stigma there, and what can we do to tackle all this?
Akash, I mean, you raised a very good question. I mean, yes, of course there would be irritability. There would be change or fluctuation of hormones, but that does not give society, the external society, permission to maybe pass comments like this, because again it is a very sensitive issue when we talk about it in India. And because people especially men, because they lack awareness, so that is why they just pass a comment saying that it must be because she's on her period, that is why she's acting so cranky, etc. Which I'm sure, because I was seeing this video a day back, wherein it was said that the period pain is equivalent to the pain that one witnesses during a heart attack. So imagine having period pain and going to office with several heart attacks coming frequently. So that is what a period pain is. And as a society in India, I think this is the right time when we start discussing about there are other countries which have started to discuss or have a dialogue about a period day leave. The first day on period, it should be considered as a leave for women, which should be. And because there is so lack of there's no understanding towards as in men, they do not really understand this topic so well. That is why they pass judgment and they pass this comment. But of course we cannot deny the fact that there is hormone fluctuation, there is irritability, which is bound to be, because it's not easy to be in a period.
Right. So, ma'am,
Yes.
as a professor of law, ma'am, can you
Yeah.
give some opinions about the Sabarimala case?
Yes, of course. So the Sabarimala judgment, actually happened somewhere around September 2018. Before that, I would like to take your attention towards something else. Okay, now, so what happened in 2017? So in 2017, the government actually labeled period products or the menstrual products as luxury item. So in July 2018 is when as soon as they were labeled as luxury items, and which made them taxable, which put a tax on them, they started there's a media campaign that was started, public campaign as well as media campaign that was started against the government. And only in July 2018 is when they realized that it is an absolute necessity, it is not a luxury item, right? And then some around, I think, September 2018 came the Sabarimala judgment. So now Sabarimala judgment mein hua kya tha? I mean, the temple actually restricted women between the age of 10 to 50 years from entering into the temple premise, stating that in the age gap of 10 to 50 is when they ideally menstruate, and they were considered to be impure, and they were considered to be as somebody who was not who shouldn't come to a pure place, pure and a pious place. So there was also acts like women not being allowed around men who were going to Sabarimala temple. So these were few instances, and then came in the judgment which said that it is totally in contravention to Article 25, which guarantees you right to freedom, right to freedom to religion. Then you have right to right to freedom to worship. So it's totally or contrary to that. That was what Sabarimala judgment was all about. So you cannot restrict any women and put her in a bracket of an age group of 10 to 15 and not allow her to exercise her freedom to religion or worship. So this was the judgment all about. I hope I had made it clear for you, Akash,
Is
to
it also
understand.
in contravention of right to equality? Because
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, see, beta, when we talk about, when we talk about menstrual hygiene management, and when we talk about period poverty, the problem is that when you are depriving an individual of the same, let's talk in Indian context, let's not, bring international perspective into the same. So when we talk about the Indian outline, when we streamline it in an Indian way, so we would see that we have sustainable development goal number 4, which talks about the same. Okay, so it's not like the government is not working towards it. The government is working towards it, but in a rural place in India, where there are no such facilities, uh, it would not only be a deprivation of equality, the right to equality. It would be deprivation of right to privacy. It will be deprivation of the right to not be discriminated, because you will be discriminated. Also, it would be in deprivation to right to health, and most importantly of everything, it would be a deprivation of right to education. Now, why I say it would be a deprivation in terms of right to education, because I'm sure that you must have already seen a lot of advertisements on TV wherein there's a survey by Cry, etc., which say that 1 out of 5 women or girls, they drop out of the school as soon as they start menstruating.
In India?
So now, in India, yes. You must have seen these statistics. I mean, it's a very a long run media campaign wherein it's more usually on TV. So 1 out of 5 adolescent girl would ideally drop out from school as soon as they start to menstruate, and 40% of the population of girls that are retained won't go to school when they are menstruating. So this is also one problem. Why did not go to the school, or why do not access to the school? Is because there is a social stigma attached to the same. There is isolation, there is embarrassment, and most importantly, there is period poverty, which is non-availability or inaccessibility of period products. Now, when we further talk about why it is a threat to right to education, is because when we see in rural India, even in urban India, teachers are also not sensitized enough to understand this concept, which is a major problem. So I feel that a teacher or a professor is somebody who can change the game entirely in any social problem. Now, when we talk about social stigmatization, periods are really big in India, which means you're not allowed to go to the kitchen. You're supposed to sleep on the floor. Not obviously, the urban India is changing. I'm not probably putting everyone in this category. There are a few other problems, like you're not supposed to touch the pickle. Don't go near men who are going to temple. Don't go to temple. Don't go near tulsi plant, etc., etc. So there are a lot of restrictions, because society does not understand it as a natural process. They consider you impure. They consider you unworthy during that time. So what do? In return, they take your personal liberty, your freedom. They curtail it. Curtail it, and you'd be surprised that this curtailment of right is happening by people who love us, by people who are our parents, right? So this is what women are witnessing. So similarly, when we talk about education and MHM, teachers are not very sensitized. There is again social stigma. There is discrimination. There are no toilet facilities in school. Which makes it very, very difficult for adolescent girls to go to school, because they do not have privacy. Also, you think of the government in 2017 thinking of it as a luxury product. Even if we think of that, the government also does not understand that there is a strata of society which is economically backward. There should be, in fact, there should be subsidized rates. It should be provided at the most economical price point, or rather not a free. I suggest in rural India it should be free, of course. Only then women will be able to go to school. Adolescent girls will be able to turn up to school. They'll be able to maintain their attendance. They will be able to progress. So that is why it is a very big threat to Article 21A, which is right to education.
So when there is a lack of availability of such products, women, what means do women resort to
Yes.
yeah.
So, I'll give you another eye opener, which is quite unsettling in the terms that, you'd be surprised to know all of this. So, while I was doing my research, I mean, though I haven't profoundly researched in this topic, but as little as, I could, get from everything available online and, in books, I found out things that, are astonishing, astounding. Women in rural India, they use mud, hardened mud. They use cow dung. They use leaves, for collecting and absorbing period blood, which is so unsettling to think of, because there would be so much, aggravated chances of, getting an infection from that. uh, that comes, that brings us to the topic that why menstrual health management is important. It is important because, it is the fifth largest killer globally. 8 lakh women die globally because of illness caused due to unhygienic or unsanitary means adopted during their menstrual cycle. So
What kind
because,
of what kind of illnesses can happen?
it could be any infection. It could be sepsis.
Right.
It could be any infection, because, you understand there is bacteria growing in that blood, and that bacteria can give you UTIs, it can give you infections, etc. And those infections are the fifth largest killer globally. 8 lakh women die globally because of infections caused due to mismanagement of menstrual health. So that is why it becomes very important. It becomes, becomes a very, very pivotal concept, because, the right to health is just below the same. So now when there is a woman who's forced to use leaves to collect and absorb blood, there are high chances that, she will get an infection for sure. Also, the most prevalent, of course, when we're talking about India, uh, the most prevalent way, or the most prevalent thing that is used is a cloth. So now, this cloth is reused. It is reused on, so during every day, maybe during every, cycle. So now this also has contributed into major spread of infections
Of course.
within women. So what are safe products? We have safe products like tampons, we have menstrual cups, we have, sanitary pads, etc. We have, a new range of absorbent undergarments coming through. So those are, few things which are safe to use, but, considering that you should have access to the same would only solve the problem. So so this is pretty much about, what ways, I mean, what else is used for menstrual health management, which leads to illness and which is not correct, I mean, which shouldn't be used.
So, ma'am, sometimes men also pressurize women when they are down to have sexual intercourse with them. So, how harmful is that, and should it even be legal? Should it be?
I wouldn't have a lot of evidences on the same. I mean, I would go by what I know, which is law. So if it is consensual, medical way, I don't know, I think it's totally safe. Non-consensual, again, it would be a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that also that men are embarrassed to talk about this subject, that there has been lack of many positive changes in the society, lack of
Right.
new reforms or laws.
Exactly. So I'd like to pick up something from that, Akash, which is, the parental education taboo that we face. So you would also agree, Akash, like, probably I'm a little, not little, I'm quite older to you. You're probably younger, but you'd also relate to this problem that our parents, I mean, they do not really speak about any of such issues with us. So especially with girls, it is more worse, because, because imagine in a situation wherein you're getting your period and there is no education that you're given about hygiene. So you not only have to teach your girls about menstrual health management, you have to teach them about the whole process. You have to, talk to them about their bodies, their changing bodies, so that they can adapt and understand their body. Only then they'll be able to face challenges, whatever in regard to their bodies. And, so we do not let women feel comfortable in their bodies. And if there is any physical change, we make it a social, we make it a social barrier in turn. So what is period? I mean, period is a natural process, but what have we accumulated into? We have accumulated into a social stigma. We have made it a taboo. So, I mean, understand women who actually go through all these complexes and so early. Sometimes, sometimes as soon as a girl hits puberty, which is as soon as she enters her teen, is when she start getting her periods with no understanding of the same.
She might think she's bleeding, something is wrong with her.
Yeah, exactly, with no understanding, and the mother just, saying, oh my God, and just handing, a pad. And in rural India, there is not even a pad. There is not even a sanitary pad that is handed to her. I mean, she's on her own, pretty much on her own, in risk or in pool of infections that she can get. So yeah, so that's also one thing that, we need to break this taboo. We need to start to talk about it. Not only men, the responsibility is also on parents, to educate their, their children, and especially, their adolescent girls about the topic in general, about how to maintain hygiene, etc. So that has to be done. That has to be done on an urgent basis.
What about the women who are working physically, who also have to face the problem of period? They have to go day to day because of survival, to feed their family. They have to work every day, and the undue pressure that is their bodies give them, that also contributes to a lot of stress.
Exactly. So, I see advertisements on television, advertisement of period products, which encourage women, in a manner, you go girl, you got this under control, go swimming, go this, that. But nobody actually talks about the challenges that a woman, especially a working woman or a girl going to a college, has to face. So that is why, I spoke to you initially during this lecture that we have to start to, understand the need for period leaves. So now period leaves is not something that, it's very known to people in India, but there are, countries who are giving, period leave to their employees. I mean, the first day when they're on the period, it is an off for them. So yes, but then, we have kind of normalized it. So, in India, a woman can achieve wonders. I mean, climb an Everest if she's on a period. I mean, we've normalized it to that extent. Nobody is talking about, the period pain. Nobody, is talking about what, hardship a woman has to go through. That's not being talked about. Because, we as a society, we have kind of normalized it. We don't want to talk about it. We want girls to deal with this problem at the secrecy of their homes, and we are like good to go. It's not something that, we are focused upon for now.
Not talking ethically, of course, but ma'am, if period leaves are introduced, what about economically speaking? How are businesses going to refrain from hiring women, thinking that they will be less productive because they will be in their off day? So, is that something that will be contributed in this factor?
So, well, I would. I would like to put this in front of you, and I think you'd also agree that women are more productive than men.
Okay.
Because so not okay, it's yes, okay. So because we have to balance home, we have to balance, so this is something, this sensitization should be the other way around, which means that the companies have to understand the need. They have to be sensitized enough, and if they are not, which they are not, in fact, maternity was a long battle. So that, being a law student, that, women had to fight a long battle to get maternity, relief under the Maternity Relief Act. So this is something, which the companies have to weigh. I mean, see, I mean, periods are different for every woman. Some women do not experience any pain during periods. Some women do. So again, it is a subjective thing. It is for the companies to see. And I think one leave won't hurt. One leave, considering how major of an issue it is, won't really hurt. And it does not really, I mean, economically, I mean, again, it
It
is
could
upon
not.
the companies to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as you talked about maternity, that was such a long battle that companies could not outspokenly say that we cannot hire you because you are a woman, you will take maternity leaves. So they used adjectives like you are unproductive or you are not qualified or something,
Exactly.
yeah, similar to that. So can the same thing happen? And is
Of
the
course, that is what
yeah,
I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. It will happen, not it
yeah,
can to me. That is why we don't have it till yet.
yeah,
But again, the sensitization is the only key. Awareness is the only key through which we can, maybe start to have a dialogue. We're not even talking about it as of now. So I mean, I'm sure that you have female friends around you who also work. I mean, you wouldn't even have heard them talk about it. So
of course.
we right now in India, we are not ready to have a dialogue because we're still struggling to make a sanitary pad available for somebody who's living in rural India. This is like a fancy concept as of now. So we'll see. We'll be there in a while. Dekhte hain abhi. It'll take 2 decades, I think, at least for us to be
So
there,
if a
just
man
like
feels
maternity.
sick, he's under the weather or unable to
Hmm.
work, so he can call in sick. But if a woman
Yeah.
does, it is assumed that she must be down and a lot of so
Yeah.
she goes unpaid or she has to work.
Hmm.
So
So a paid period leave is a good, way
yeah,
to, yeah. But
but
again, I told you
yeah,
that
but
you're not at the stage to debate
right
about it. अभी तो हम उस
awareness.
stage पे हैं कि अभी availability ही और accessibility ही provide कर दें rural India. Not rural India, urban India में भी problem है because now we have started to see concept of urban poor as well. So yeah. So, Akash, lastly, I mean, there's something that I'd like to speak about that. How do we tackle this problem? Could you gather a solution, Akash? I mean, do you think that probably you could gather a solution through which it can be done? I'd really like to hear you out.
Ma'am, due to the bloom of social media apps and uh, things like geo network and all, awareness can be raised. Like if things like viral TikTok videos can be spread to multiple people, things like that can be incorporated into entertainment so that people can digest it, unless, because otherwise if it's just for educational purposes and people see a video, they will go like, oh, it's very educational, it's boring, and they will just scroll away. So what I
Yeah.
believe is, if it is sandwiched between something that is of entertainment value and something people can actually watch, so at least they will get an awareness of the thing, that is like the movie Padman. It such
Yeah.
beautifully demonstrated the societal problem.
Whole issue.
Yeah,
And you also had cinematic feels to it. So yeah, it pretty much
yeah,
summed up the
exactly,
problem.
exactly.
So, what I feel is, see, I'm
Yeah.
not, again, I know only as much as I should know as, a law student. Is that we actually need to build a sanitary infrastructure. So what does sanitary infrastructure basically means? That we need to go step by step. First in place, we need to provide economical menstrual hygiene management products. So all the material should be economical. I mean, developing whatever country, we have to make it a point that they are economical, if not free. If free, very nice. I'm in favor of them being free because it is an absolute necessity. It runs parallel to right to health.
Especially in
Also,
rural areas.
exactly, totally. Also, I am in favor of increasing the number of toilet or washroom facilities available, because in privacy of those toilets or washrooms can only this be done, right? So especially in schools, so you have to maintain a lockable private separate toilet in schools, so that women, our adolescent girls, do not have to worry about their privacy. and they can keep coming to school. So when they have economical or free menstrual management products, they have a toilet, our half battle is won. Then it becomes very necessary also because there is social stigma attached to it. I mean, period blood is considered as impure, and it is also advisable to dispose it off in a good manner.
Yes.
So for that, a sanitary infrastructure should give proper dustbins, bins, or any sanitary disposal machine which are easily available on the airports, in various schools, in various places of village, etc. Then there should be soap for cleaning, because we all know that the importance of hand wash. We all know the importance of keeping clean during that period is very important, so that infections can be prevented. So this is what is actually required as a sanitary infrastructure. So when I talk about sanitary infrastructure would not only require us building sanitary pad disposal, garbage systems. It also includes us, or it is also inclusive of the fact that we spread awareness about this topic. We spread awareness, we break this cultural or social taboo, whatever it is, because some cultures, they have one set of rules, some cultures have one set of rules, same with religion. Religious texts have been quoting women as impure during the time when they're menstruating. So because we learn from religious texts, we need to kind of improvise on the scene. We need to kind of stop treating this as a taboo or a stigma. We have to work in that manner as well. And lastly, what is important is that we have to make an inclusive society where Akash is equal, where Kaneeka is equal, where XYZ, all of us are equal, and a society which understands problems of Akash as well as it understands the problem of Kaneeka. So we need to work towards an inclusive society where this problem is understood, and both men and women are treated equally, irrespective of the fact that women can be less productive during the time when they become mothers, or they're in the process of becoming mothers, or during the time when they're on their menstruation. So this has to go.
Is it also does this also happen that after menopause that women stops her period, that she takes an objective stand? I would not say objective in the sense of ethically objective, like objective in the term of stigma and society's thoughts, that they think yeah, these men were right and women are impure who are under the period, because now they are not in this category anymore.
See, I cannot talk about, again, it is a question that could be subjective. I cannot talk about women around, but I know as for the fact that women around me who have gone through menopause they still have the same stance, which is that we need better sanitary infrastructure, and we demand the same. Around the world, I can't really say, because of course India is so diverse. We have so many cultures, subcultures, thought process, etc. So yeah.
It was really nice talking to you. Actually, I can't take video for more than 1 hour. Otherwise, it won't.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Same here. It was a
really
delight
nice
talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Take care, better. Bye.